Welcome to the Arclight Battery, your power source for all things Warcraft Rumble related. In today's video, we're going to continue with the promise I made where we make a tier list for every single new PvP meta switch. Now we have Dragon Towers to go along with Heroes Resolve and Bounty Hunt, so it changes things up just a little bit. So this is where our hero tier list left off with last time. We're going to modify it and give you reasonings why we are changing things the way we are, and we're also going to do the minis in this video, so stay tuned. We're going to try and go through it quickly but not rush. That way we can get our point across, but we can get leaders and minis in the same video. So let's just go ahead and start with Hogger here. He's still S tier, still fantastic. There are so many great builds you can play with him. There's Poison Cheat Death, there's just support him with spells. It's very solid. Still S tier. Troggoth's still probably A tier. I don't think she is quite as good as Hogger, but she's very good at countering him. But she loses to Jaina and probably Thalnos as well. Emperor Thaurissan, still A tier, pretty solid. All the builds that you used to play with him are good as far as like the Prowler, Harvest Golem, things like that go. Gargoyle is weaker now with Dragon Towers, so I wouldn't recommend going level up Gargoyle with him, but everything else is pretty good. Rind, I think he's probably B tier now. It's not that Dragon Towers hurt him, he's just not nearly as strong as I thought he was with Heroes Resolve, to be completely honest. Tyrion. Man, Dragon Towers really hurt this guy, and with Polymorph being really relevant in the meta, same with Execute, Tyrion's going down here. He's C tier, unfortunately. Maya following suit. Her issue isn't so much that Heroes Resolve doesn't help her as much. I think it's that you can't play Skeleton and Whelpegs with Bounty Hunt. So I had her in A tier. She's definitely a lot weaker than I thought she was originally. Grommash, still A tier. Still pretty good counter to Hogger, or at least does well against him with the Savage Strikes talent. Just a good leader overall. Next we have Jaina, and oh boy, I was wrong about Jaina. Jaina's S tier. She's so good. She's kind of a counter to Hogger. She doesn't always win against that matchup, but she's just so controlling, and there's so many variants you can play with her. She's very, very good. Definitely S tier. Baron's A tier. I don't think it matters that Bounty Hunt's in the meta. It kind of hurts him, but not really. He's just so good at putting pressure on the base, especially now with Dragon Towers. Skeleton Mages getting to your base, like, your base just doesn't kill them at all. It's crazy. They apply Frostbite, they have a lot of health. They don't do as much, like, they don't do a ton of damage, but they do enough for it to, like, really get annoying. Draxath, I think, is probably A tier. He's fine. He's probably low A tier, high B tier. There's some cool cycle decks you can play with him where you don't invest Shamans and Holy Novas onto your first couple Dracasaths. Then once you get a Dracasath that's like level 13, 14, somewhere in that range, you can pair him with a Shaman and invest more gold into Deathballing with that one. Karen is probably B tier. He's just hard to survive in the Jaina meta, to be honest. Jaina's probably the best tier right now. She's above Hogger for sure. He's either low B or high C. We're gonna keep him low B. Murk-Eye, I think he's C tier. He's not unplayable, but he's rough. He's really good against Dragon Towers. Just Bounty Hunt is rough for him, and living in a Jaina Thalnos meta is not good for his health. So many of the spells they play, Chain Lightning, Arcane Blast, Polymorph, Deep Breath, things like that are really bad for Murk-Eye. Next we have Sylvanas. She's C tier still, maybe D tier. Probably D tier. She's just not playable right now. Just a little unfortunate. She's 6 gold. Costs too much to play her, to cycle with her. Sneed, gotta be D tier as well. Not a good unit. She's just not well costed, I don't think. His favorite map, Gadgetzan, being out of rotation is not good for his health, and it's really easy to see that because no one is playing him. And then Thalnos, man, he's somewhere in S tier, A tier. I'm gonna put him in high A tier. He is very good. He's weak to Jaina. There's kind of this rock paper scissors thing going on. So Jaina beats Thalnos. Thalnos beats Hogger, and Hogger is good into Jaina. Man, Thalnos is way better than I thought he was. he's so good at just being inevitable. Like, the first couple you can make really annoying by level up a couple times with spells, and then eventually the Hero's Resolve kicks in, and you play one, and all of a sudden it's level 15 with you playing no spells, and then you can crank it up super high, and it just scales out of control. It is wild what you can do with Thalnos right now. So I think I will put him in S tier. So let's go ahead and move on to the minis. River, we have Dragon Towers. We'll just go on one by one. I think Griffin Runner, Kobor, and Safe Pilot are all S tier. All kind of go in every deck. Super solid. I'm going to move Blizzard up to S tier. It's really good against Jaina. It kills her up, well, as long as you have level 10 Blizzard, which I know you don't all have level 10 Blizzard, but it kills her up to level 18, I believe. Blizzard is so good against Jaina. It's good against Hogger. It's good against Thalnos. It's just an all-star right now for whatever reason. It's super good. I think Chain Lightning's still probably A tier. Good in Jaina and some other builds. Dark Iron Miner, super good as well. Not quite S tier, but A tier. I'm going to move Deep Breath up to S tier, just because Jaina is so strong right now. Very good against Thalnos, very good against Jaina, very good with Jaina against lots of different things. Bandits are probably fine here. Great for cycling your leaders. Gargoyle. Gonna drop to the bottom of B tier. Dragon Towers are really bad for this thing's health. Ghoul. Same thing. I don't think it's quite bottom of B tier. It's still played in a lot of different lists, mainly Barons, but just not nearly as good as like Harvest Golem, in my opinion. Feel free to disagree. I think Harvest Golem is very good still. It's great at defending in front of your base, stunning, and then retaking aggro once it resurrects. Murlocs are great. I'm almost tempted to put these in S tier. They're just so good. Safety Bowl is amazing against Deep Breath, and that's what people are running right now. Plymorph, great against Hogger, great against Baron, great against Ren, great against Dracosath, great against Thalnos, everybody. This is like the tippity top of A tier, if not S tier. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it in S tier. I think it probably is S tier right now. The meta just relies on it so heavily to get rid of annoying high-level leaders. Now, Plymorph doesn't last as long against high-level leaders, but you don't need it to last very long when they're in melee range of your Dragon Tower. Prowler, still A tier, perfect at helping you contest chests, super solid. Arcane Blast, it's either low A or high B. There are a lot of decks that are choosing to run this in different slots, but it's kind of like few and far between. I say a lot of decks, like you can play it in Hogger, you can play it in Jaina, you can play it in Thalnos, you can play it in Charlga, but it's not in all of those lists. You don't always see it. So probably B tier. It's still good though. Banshee, still probably bottom of B tier. Decent at mind controlling your opponent's hero. But if you're doing that, you can't really cycle back to your leader as quickly because you're spending 4 gold here. So it's just kind of okay. Batrider's still fine at B tier. Cheat Death is too. I think Core Hounds are probably C tier now. You can't really play them. I feel like Drake is probably C tier as well, just because of how close they have to get to the base. Troll is probably A tier. I think he's very good, especially with his health regen talent. Dragon Towers just don't kill him. Execute's good. Harpies are probably C tier. Dragon Towers absolutely wreck these. Hoinov good. This is bottom of B tier. Huntress is good against Dragon Towers, but not good with Hero's Resolve. There have been some decks that have been playing it, but they're just like, they're just okay. I'm actually going to drop it to C tier. It's not great in Hero's Resolve meta. Pyromancer, still super great at defending. It's used less now that Dragon Towers are in play, because it was mainly used to defend against Gargoyles with the triple elemental shot on its first attack. Super solid. Raptors, probably C tier. I think they're okay. I actually lost to a Raptors deck today, but I don't think Raptors are particularly the reason why we lost. They're fine. They did Dragon Towers pretty quick. Shaman, great with Dracosath, great in Jaina control lists, and some variants. Probably still B tier. Skeletons are C tier now. Bounty Hunt was rough for them, but we were playing them in Baron lists without the Exhume talent, so he could eat them. But now, Dragon Towers just eat them alive. Not great. Smoke Bomb is probably B tier as well. Very, very niche. Well, I say that. We're going to put it in C tier. It's very niche. Played in, like, some Drakaseths are running it. Some Thalnoses are running it. It's just very niche right now. Sword of Torn, probably C tier as well. I know that there's a lot in C tier right now, but just kind of the way Heroes Resolve and Dragon Towers and Bounty Hunter pushing things out of the meta. Same thing with Whelp Eggs. Probably C tier. Well, no, let's leave them in B tier. They're rough with Bounty Hunt, but they're still not horrible. Raider, probably B tier. It's okay, nothing special. Worgen's probably C tier. Haven't been seeing tons of play. Really not super great. Witch Doctor, I'm actually going to keep B tier. I don't necessarily like Witch Doctor. I don't think any of his talents are particularly good. But maybe we'll see him rise a little bit with his damage talent, his Amplified Curse, when Bounty Hunt rotates out. But currently, I think he's just kind of okay. Not going to put him quite in C tier, but B tier is probably good for where he's at. Now let's review these guys real quick. Just give them a little glance, see if they're good. Fire Elemental might move up to B tier. Nah, maybe not in Heroes Resolve meta, but against Dragon Towers, once that rotates out, he's probably fine. I think everything looks good. There's not a lot of diversity at the top end, to be honest. Like I said, Arcane Blast gets played in some lists. All of these units get played in some lists as well, and then these are just kind of more niche. You hardly ever see them. So yeah, this is my take on the current meta. This is what I think is good. Things you should be playing. Anything in this top S tier are things you should probably include in your deck. I know there's 6 units. You're not going to include all of them, but a lot of people, myself included, in my guild have been talking about the golden rule. I think Arthi invented it. He says Quillbore, Safe, and Griffin in every deck, and then you just win the game. I don't know if that's actually true. I've actually been playing a lot without Safe Pilot in some decks, but it does seem to be the case, especially until you get to like high yellow. Use one of these 3 units in the deck. They're just amazing. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the tier list today, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Super appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all the support you've shown me. And keep your fingers crossed for more great content coming in the future from Warcraft Rumble. We'll see what happens. Bye, guys.